Hi, I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. So do you know there are 4 words that every minimalist should know about? So minimalism, as you know, is all about simplifying your life by owning less and prioritizing what truly matters to you. And one of the key principles of minimalism is decluttering, which involves getting rid of possessions that no longer serve a purpose in your life. To make decluttering easier, it can be helpful to categorize your possessions into 4 different categories: unused, unwanted, unloved, and unnecessary. So unused possessions are items that you haven't used in a while. They've been sitting around in your closet, just collecting dust. These things include clothing that no longer fit, books that you've already read, kitchen appliances that you never use. To declutter those unused items, take a good look at each item and ask yourself, when was the last time you used it? If it's been more than a couple of months, it's probably safe to say that you don't need it anymore. Consider donating those items or selling them to free up some space in your home. The second word is unwanted. So unwanted items are possessions that you don't like. They don't bring you joy anymore. So these can include gifts that you've received but you don't really like. You've never used them, clothing that doesn't fit. And to declutter unwanted items, and take a moment to reflect on why it is that you don't like this item anymore. Is it because they don't fit properly, or is it because they don't match your personal taste any longer? And once you understand why you don't want those items, it's going to be easier for you to declutter them. So consider donating or selling those items to someone who might need them more than you do. The third word, unloved, and unloved items are those possessions that you used to love and they fit your lifestyle, but they've lost their appeal over a period of time. And this can include items that were once trendy, but they're now outdated. It could be souvenirs from a trip that no longer holds any sentimental value for you. So to declutter those unloved items, take some time to think about why you used to love them. And is there a specific memory that was attached to that item, or was it simply a passing phase? And so once you've identified why you no longer love those items, it's going to be easier for you to declutter them and let those go. So consider donating or selling those items to make room for new things that you really love. And the last word is unnecessary. So unnecessary items are possessions that you simply don't need anymore. These can include duplicate items, things that you bought on a whim but never ended up using. And to declutter these unnecessary items, ask yourself if you truly need that item any longer. And if it has multiple versions of this, if you have multiple versions of the same thing, consider keeping only the one that you need and then getting rid of the rest. So if you bought something on an impulse, which we oftentimes do, but you've never used it, consider donating it or selling it to someone who will get more use out of it. By categorizing your possessions into these 4 categories, you can make the decluttering process so much easier. So instead of feeling overwhelmed by that sheer amount of the project that is ahead of you in decluttering, of getting rid of all the stuff, much of the stuff that you own, you can focus on each item individually and decide whether it serves a purpose in your life. So remember, minimalism isn't about getting rid of everything you own. It's about prioritizing the things that truly matter to you and letting go of the rest. So here are a few additional tips to help you get started with decluttering. Number 1 is to start small. If you try to declutter your entire home in one day, you're likely to get overwhelmed and give up. So instead, start with one room at a time, one category at a time, like clothes or books, and work your way through. The second tip is to use the 1 in and 1 out rule. So for every item that you bring in, get rid of one of the older items. This will help prevent that clutter buildup that you have already started to try to get rid of. And then the last thing is to not be too hard on yourself. It's okay to keep items that don't fit neatly into one of these 4 categories as long as they bring you joy and as long as they serve a purpose in your life. So I hope that this was helpful.